Good morning to all of you from the Americas. Good afternoon to the rest of our collaborators in Europe and Asia. This is George Papachristou from the University of Pittsburgh, ready to start our fourth webinar for Apprentice study. As you probably remember, Apprentice, the acronym for our study, stands for Acute Pancreatitis Patient Registry to examine novel therapies and clinical experiences. I would like to thank all of you that you are present in our webinar today. I know that we're already hitting August, which is the month of for vacations, especially for Europe and India. So I really appreciate your time and commitment. We struggled about the need of doing another webinar, but I think since our last meeting, there have been important advances, many great things to share with you. So I think it's important to discuss about them. First of all, I would like to update you about Pancreas Fest and the EPC meeting, the European Pancreatic Club meeting. I would like to welcome all the new centers. We're going to talk a little bit about the ARB approval letter, the data use agreement forms, some new items that were added in the questionnaires, and we're going to discuss when exactly we plan to initiate our pilot phase and who would be eligible to participate. And finally, a brief discussion or some tips about REDCap and how to use it. Pancreas Fest, the 11th Pancreas Fest 2015 was completed in Pittsburgh last week. It was a great success. There were 220 attendees, very well attended meeting. That was a record for Pancreas Fest. My feedback from all the attendees was that it was a great meeting, very friendly, very enjoyable. All the sessions were very well designed and done. On last Friday, we did had an acute pancreatitis working group held during the working group sessions of Pancreas Fest, which was directed by Drs. Wu, Di Maria, and myself. There was a large number of attendees, around 40 people, that discussed questions, that they had questions that we discussed about Apprentice. I felt it was a very constructive session. I have to let you know that Apprentice now is out there. Everyone involved in pancreas research in the US, Americas, Europe is aware of Apprentice. One of the questions that came up by John Bailey, one of our senior endoscopists and researchers in the US, was potential bias between patients from university centers and community hospitals, and we have tried to address those by trying to be all-inclusive and have a good representation of university referral centers, but also community hospitals in the pool of institutions that will be involved. And then, of course, the lack of funding is an obstacle that we have to deal with. It would be great if funding was there to support full-time research coordinators, and we realize that over time in centers that you use trainees, fellows, there might be changing of the personnel during the course of the study. And our goal is down the road, when the first phase, the first year of the study is completed, to move on into applying for funding and being able to support the participating centers with some money as well. And we have already moved into exploring such directions. So there were a few centers from the US that showed interest to participate: University of Nebraska and Dr. Singh, University of Michigan with Dr. DiMagno, University of Tennessee, Dr. Lambias, as well as Alabama with Dr. Wilcox. During our working group, there were industrial companies present, such as Avi and Shire, and they shared their interest, as well as they realized that Apprentice would be the way to go in the future as a platform supporting industry-related research. We also had representation from NIH, the National Institute, the National Institute of Health, and Dr. Jose Serrano was present in the meeting. I have already contacted Dr. Serrano. He is aware of the study, and he did provide some important tips in respect to future approaches to applying for grants. And the most important point that it's clear right now: keep up the good work, start enrolling patients, show that we can be efficient, effective, and we will be able to move forward with the study, and then everything as far as funding will be much easier. In June, 2 months ago, the European Pancreatic Club meeting in Toledo took place. I had the opportunity to be there. And actually, this was a very well-attended meeting. All European pancreatologists and researchers were almost present, and I had a presentation in the large auditorium, which was filled with people. And during my presentation, I did spend a few minutes introducing the Apprentice study in all our European colleagues. Dr. Di Maddaria was also there, Dr. Singh was there, Dr. Vikesh Singh, and they did an excellent job in promoting Apprentice as well. There were some new centers from Europe that showed interest, to include University of Sapienza in Rome, University of Kosovo, as well as the Lithuanian University from Kaunas, Lithuania. At this point, I would like to thank all of you for your participation. In respect to attendees right now, I would like to welcome Dr. Hernandez, Dr. Kamal, Dr. Capruso from Italy, Dr. Ferreira from Paraguay, Drs. Zarnescu and Barbu from Romania, Dr. Singh from Hopkins, and Dr. Gula, who is very much involved into the Lithuanian society, even though she's in the US right now, are present. And I know that there are even more people through their cell phones that I cannot actually track down their names right now. So, in respect to new centers, up to now, we have to welcome some new centers that have shown commitment to collaborate by providing their research coordinator and principal investigator names and emails. University of Bucharest with Dr. Zarnescu. Narcis, is very nice to have you on board. I have seen you for a few years, but I'm looking forward to meet again in person. University of Cluj from Romania and Dr. Barbu. Romania has been very much involved the last few weeks, and this is great for Apprentice. University of Nebraska and Dr. Singh. Stanford University from Palo Alto with Dr. Park. As briefly mentioned, University of Rome with Dr. Capurso, and Dr. Capurso is currently, I think it's Capruso, is currently attending the webinar as well. University of Tehran from Iran with Dr. Pursams. The Lithuanian University of Health Sciences and Dr. Gula is leading that group. University of Kosovo with Dr. Viliu. And moving along, we have now 32 actually. We just counted the centers yesterday, committed, but also 6 centers have already provided back to us IRB approval. University of Pittsburgh as a coordinating center, but also as a participating center is ready, as it is University University Iliu Hatieganu. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the name. From Romania, University of Bucharest, again from Romania, Hospital de Itaugua from Paraguay, Hospital Nacional Professor Posadas from Argentina, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and also the University of Mexico City, Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico. So we have representation both from Europe, North America, and Central and South America. But right now, as we speak, I know that there are a lot of centers that they were waiting from Pittsburgh coordinating IRB approval letter, and they have been working on the IRB. So I think within the next few weeks, we will have many more centers that will have completed the IRB approval process. As we have talked before, we are here to help you and guide you with the IRB approval process. We have already uploaded our IRB protocol, and you can use that as a backbone to present your IRB into to present our IRB proposal into your local ethics committee. And my very close collaborator and research scholar, that I'm going to turn the camera, Amir Google is here with me, and Amir is always available to help you answer questions and have me involved if needed as well. So you can now place a face into all the emails that Amir and all the hard work that he has been providing for the study in these very few months. Again, I want to make clear that there is still time to participate for new centers, but as we're getting closer and closer to the time to start, this time has started to become limited. So please, if you have other centers that you want to involve or let know, this is the time to do it. I would also like to mention that my very close colleague, Dr. Yadev, is also with us in the room, attending our webinar. In respect to the IRB letter, as you can see to the right of the screen, we did indeed on July 14th got official approval from the University of Pittsburgh Institutional Review Board for the apprentice study and for Pitt to act as a coordinating center. This letter was sent via email. Amir sent a massive email to all the centers interested and committed, and this letter is also shared in the handout section of the webinar, of our webinar panel. So please use this letter if need to for your local ethics committees, so as the process to move forward. I know that many centers in the US did need this letter to move forward, such as University of Chicago and Cleveland Clinic. In respect to the data use agreement form, Amir has worked on that as well as myself significantly the last few weeks. Again, the wording is mainly based on each participating center, meaning your center, which will be the sender center, meaning the center that will send the data into the central REDCap database. It is based on your own center regulations. We have provided a couple of months ago with a data use agreement platform, which was not very convenient, and for that reason, a more convenient version of DUA has been created, and it's available for your review, and you can use that as a template for your center. And we continue to work with PIT IRB to even further refine and finalize this DUA form. But this format is now available is a Word document, so it's very easy for you to copy and paste certain paragraphs from that form to your own DUA form for your committee. And that's how this form looks right now. The blue letters are where you have to place your institution's name, so on and so forth, as well as the investigators. It's a pretty straightforward and completed form, but we keep on working on it to make it perfect, and mainly fulfill all the requirements by IRB. In respect to questionnaires, this is the very first questionnaire that comes up that includes the inclusion and exclusion criteria for our study. So if there are patients with issues such as pancreas cancer or chronic pancreatitis, can be upfront excluded. There were a few variables added, mainly SIRS, the 4-point severity index, pain control scales, documentation of presence of nausea and vomiting for admission day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 7. This is important information that will be used for validating the acute pancreatitis activity index, which is a new index that Dr. Pandol and Beach and Wu, supported by the American Pancreatic Association, trying to finalize and form. Also, there will be details on narcotic use on admission day 1, 2, 3, and 7, and there is a morphine equivalent chart that has been added in the questionnaire to guide you in respect to the amount of narcotics that have been used. And you can see how exactly this narcotic equivalent, morphine equivalent chart looks. So whichever pain medication or narcotic your center use, it will be very easy for you to, in a way, measure the actual amount of narcotics used and record it. In respect to the pilot phase, our goal is to launch in September 2015. This is next month. So we're very, very close. Centers with submitted IRB approval and DUA forms will be eligible to participate. So we still have a month for you guys to try to wrap up this process so as to be participating even from the pilot phase. The pilot phase or the trial phase will probably last 2 to 3 months. All data collected during the pilot phase may potentially include it to the data pool for analysis if they are of good quality. Mainly the pilot phase, what we will try to do is test the questionnaires, and during the pilot phase we will have at the end of the pilot phase option to modify questions if you guys feel that some of the questions are not straightforward or are not easy to answer. We will test for feasibility. We will try to troubleshoot any problems in the recording of data, and of course your feedback will be extremely important. And then moving forward from the pilot phase within a month or so, after we will lock our questionnaire, we will move into the main phase, where again the questionnaires will be locked and we will unable to modify them further. So the questionnaires will stay locked for a whole year, and we will complete the collection of data. That's why the pilot phase is important. We already have 6 centers with IRB approval. It would be great if we have a few more centers ready to go during the pilot phase. The pilot phase will start in September, but I want to make clear that even if a center is ready to go in October, this center still will be able to contribute patients for the pilot, for the rest of the pilot, for the remaining of the pilot phase. What are the next steps after you provide the IRB and DUA forms back to Pittsburgh? Those forms will be added to the PIT coordinating IRB, and these centers will be officially approved participating centers, and this will give each center access to REDCap. A link will be sent to the official participating centers, and as we have talked before about it, REDCap is a very safe and secure online tool to collect and record data. It's a very well-established tool among research institutions around the world, and in this small map with the red dots, you can see all the geographical places where REDCap is being used. And you can see it's heavily used in the US as well as in Europe, but also in Asia, Africa, and South America. We just got a notification by Dr. Vikesh Singh from Johns Hopkins, who is actually member of our publication committee as well, that the IRB from Hopkins is also approved. So we are now up to 7 centers, which is great. Again, Vic hopefully will be able to talk a little bit at the end of the webinar. I would again like to thank you for your support and enthusiasm with Apprentice study. And that's how the registration form will look. This is the link, and you can use your own username. You have to fill in the IRB number. The IRB number is there on the screen. And then when this registration is completed, within 24 hours, you will have your own password sent to you. So at this point, you will be ready to start input data to REDCap. And this can be done through the REDCap portal, but there's also access via smartphones, or also there's the option to import directly into REDCap from Excel sheets. However, after talking to the REDCap professionals here in Pittsburgh, this type of input data is very tricky, and overall it's not recommended because the Excel sheet has to completely exactly mirror the Apprentice Excel template to avoid either losing or messing data. So my advice would be either to do it through the REDCap portal or via your smartphone. And that's how the REDCap entry screen will look in your computer. It's a very it's user-friendly entry, and you can see where you can click to add and edit records as well. And that's how this is another screen, computer screen of how the data entry process will look like. Now, in respect to smartphone, there will be limited access to account. It's only for data entry, so it's not a full access like you have with your computer. And right now it's through a phone browser. However, there is an app, a REDCap app, that is being developed and updated for iPhone and Androids, and soon the University of Pittsburgh will have it available to you as well. And that's how it looks through the phone browser. It's a much more limited option in comparison to your computer. This more or less completes the items that I would like to discuss with you. Again, I think we have done several steps towards the correct direction. Apprentice is now a well-established collaboration initiative that is well known throughout the world. We have a large amount, extremely large amount of interest and commitment from many centers, exceeding 30 in number, and we already have 7 centers completing their IRB approval process. So please, the next couple of months are critical for you to try to complete the IRB approval process, and indeed, we need to answer Dr. Capruso's question from Italy. We do need the IRB approval letter and the DUA form signed by you so as even to join the pilot phase. These are the requirements through the University of Pittsburgh coordinating IRB, and we really need to be to follow all the IRB requirements and all the appropriate steps. Venkata Akshintala also joined us for the webinar, and I have to say that Venkata with Amir have been extremely helpful to me and to Apprentice Study in those first few months of hard work that we have to place to be where we are right now. Again, exciting times, the momentum is there, but we have to keep the momentum. The more important times are ahead of us to give our best selves with the pilot phase, fine-tune, troubleshoot all the small details, see how the questionnaires work, and move forward to the actual trial. Now, at this point, the webinar is open to discussion. As you probably remember from previous webinars, you can click on the hand sign on your screen so as to be able to talk. Amir is here next to me. He might be able to connect you, and you can say hi to us, or if you have any questions. I would like to, if anyone else would like to say anything, Vic, Dr. Singh from Hopkins. I don't know if you are, if you could say hi or give us your input with all the progress that. Huh?
Dr. Singh is unmuted.
So Vic, if you are still with us, if you want to say hi.
Hi, can you hear me?
Sure.
Hi, George. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me on the webinar. I'm happy to say that that Johns Hopkins does have IRB approval, and I'm hoping that more centers will follow suit and gain IRB approval in the coming weeks so that they can be part of the pilot phase of the study, because that's going to be very important as we fine-tune exactly what items we plan to pursue for data entry. Because the stronger our data collection, I think we'll be able to answer more important questions with really the power that's needed to answer those questions. And certainly, along with George, I think we're all willing to help, and I know that with the number of centers we now have, there'll probably certainly be the need to maintain good lines of communication so that we can all strive towards the same goals. But once again, thanks for having me, and look forward to starting.
So at this point, we'll still give you a minute or so if you have any further questions or any comments. Again, I now realize that it's Dr. Capurso from Italy. I'm sorry if I misspelled your last name before. And I think that at this point there are no further questions. We will plan to our next webinar within around a month, just before we launch the pilot phase, and this probably would be an intense one. And at this point, I think it will be very important for all the centers that have provided IRB and DUA forms to be present, so we can do more like a work webinar and go through REDCap and questionnaires. I hope that you enjoy August and the summer and your vacation, and please be in touch. Share with us via email any questions, comments, or concerns that we have, and we'll see you again next month. Thank you.